Hi, this is Lama Jinpa, and today we're going to talk about how to play the Damaru. We can cover that in about 6 points, and the first one is our grip. So we use this pointy finger grip, and we actually put the handle in our palm in this way, and we use our finger and thumb to snug up against the collar or waist of the drum, keeping that quite firm. And we have this little conch ring below to act as a base support. So that's our grip. Now you might find that initially that might irritate your fingers if you're playing for a long time, a long ritual. You might actually have to put some band-aids on your fingers to protect them, and you'll eventually get calluses if you play enough. The second point is that we keep our drum upright rather than bending it. You know that when we play the Damaru, we're working with gravity, and the beaters are always accelerating a little slower than your drum head. So if we're tilted at all, if we're not at 180 degrees, then gravity will work against us. So we keep completely upright. And the main point in playing is that we play face to face. The big mistake that people make is they're only turning partially, and there just isn't enough momentum to keep those beaters moving. So we turn it 180 degrees fully, and you can actually look from face to face to make sure you're turning it fully. And nice and slow and rhythmically, meaning you don't accelerate at the end. By trying to accelerate at the end, you're actually throwing off the momentum of these beaters and working against yourself. So nice and slow, don't accelerate, keep 180 degrees and a nice firm grip. Now, if all does not go well and the drum is not upright and we're not turning it adequately, then the beaters are not hitting, people try to compensate by pumping the drum. And that certainly does put some acceleration into the beaters, but it doesn't look right, and it actually disrupts the energetic effect of the Damaru. This is a sacred implement, and it's not just for musical accompaniment. These are made in a specific way with golden mantras inside and so on, and other secret ingredients. The skins are made in a very, very special way, buried for several weeks. Altogether, this is designed to be a conduit for the energies of the lineage, the blessing and power of the Dakini, of the Lama, of the protector, of the Yidam, and so on. And so when you're playing the Damaru, you're actually getting an energetic effect on the body. If any of you have done these kind of psychic channel meditations, Salung as they're called in Tibetan, you'll know that there's a lot of spiral visualizations. So by doing this rotation or the spiral playing, we're actually affecting our channels, driving the energies deep into our central channel and so on. So important that we play in this rhythmic way and not pumping. Now, there's some points about playing in the assembly hall or playing with other people. We're always trying to keep in unison, both for the harmonics of the group as well as it looks very nice. And so we're either watching the people next to us or watching the chant master or umze to make sure we're playing in unison. One of the ways we stay in unison is we start together. In the Matric tradition and the Pegyal Lingpan tradition, generally we start at the in-beat. So we get ready to play. When the first singing or phraseology starts, we just do the in-beat together and the out-beat together. But if you're watching the chant master, all will go well. So we follow along, except there's one place where we don't follow the chant master, and that's where they may raise their arm as a signal. They're signaling that they're about to do a double beat or a drum roll or a snap or something like that, but we don't raise our hands together in order to follow that. We basically keep playing as we were. Having understood the subtleties of playing the single beat, now we can talk about more complex patterns. The first is the double beat. And actually it sounds like a triple beat, but it's a double beat because you're turning the drum twice, but it sounds like 3 beats. So we're playing along, and then we merely stop. I'm not moving my arm at all, I'm just stopping, and it continues through the momentum of the beaters. Now you can help it along by wiggling your hand a little bit. And so on. And there's different rhythms and patterns depending on your tradition. The next is the drum roll. And the drum roll simply means that we accelerate the drum faster and faster. Main point here is that we're not all just starting to flail wildly and going fast as we can. We're still doing it completely in unison with all the others. We're just going slightly faster. So watch the chant master, watch the umze, and faster as we go faster. You'll notice that you're striking harder on the in-beat, which makes it easier to play, and also you're breaking the initial rule of holding your drum upright, and you're angling it slightly so you can get a better drive. Bam, 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 bam. And then a final snap. And the snap that can come after a drum roll, or it can come just after your regular playing. A sharp inward snap of the wrist, and then an elegant way to close that off is then resting it on your knee in this fashion until the next time you start to play. And that also silences the beaters so you don't get some afterbeat. The next and final factor is the placement of our drum. If you have a properly made case, which is nice and stiff, you can use this as a kind of a holster. And when you're not playing, or when you're finished playing, or between phrasing and so on, any point in the sadhana where you're not using the drum, you just slip it in the case and keep it there on the floor or on your table. But in any case, even if are not using it in that manner, never put it down flat. And when you're not using it, don't put it down flat. Don't store it flat. This can ruin the skins. So always keep it upright on your table, on the floor, and so on. The other thing is, when you're finished, of course, you want to make sure you put your drum into storage immediately, rolling up your Damaru tail, slipping it in there, making sure it's tied nice and tight, and if it's a proper casing, it'll have a nice wool lining to absorb moisture. And then again, store it upright. You can store it in your shrine, anywhere where your sacred implements are, or you can hang it somewhere. It looks very nice too, part of your decorations. Well, that's it for now. We'll be talking later on of how to integrate the Damaru with your bell, congling, and so on, and how to use it in each of our different rituals. So to recap our playing of the Damaru, keep a firm pointy grip, keep your arm upright, not bent or tilted, rotate the drum 180 degrees face to face, don't accelerate at the end, ignore the beaters and don't try to play, don't pump, and you and the Damaru are one.